Our Florida trip was over and we were making our way back up north.
In a quarter mile, your destination will be on the right.
Alright. Our first stop was a harvest host in Georgia called Polk Vineyards, and we were excited because they had strawberry picking. Get set up before it starts pouring. There were some very ominous clouds forming in the distance, so we scrambled to get the Scamp set up before it started raining. We got set up just in time. You could see that cloud coming in, and then it was starting to thunder. So, good thing we didn't get here now. You okay? You're not getting rained on. Aw. Yeah, if we got here right now, this would not be fun to set up in. It poured and thundered for probably about 20 minutes, and then everything cleared up, and it was beautiful. It's really nice out now. That's how it goes down here, though. Rains, thunders, sun comes back out. I like that. You know?
It's quick.
Gets it over with, yeah. It's not like New Jersey.
All day cold affair.
It's like all day, freezing. Yeah. Alright. They specifically requested that we bring the dog in when we go to make our purchase, so Redford's going into the store. They said they are very dog friendly. The Scamp was parked in an open field right in front of the industrial part of the winery and just a little ways down from the store, and we could actually see them in there working on the barrels and doing whatever it is they do to make the wine as we were walking toward the store. I don't know what that is. Farm Bureau of Georgia. It's like a Georgia thing. Gonna have to get him a passport. Red got to come inside and say hi to all the workers, which he really enjoyed, while we picked out a couple bottles of wine, and I put a marker on their cork board to show where we were visiting from. And I was impressed with how many different places people have traveled from. Come on. Cool. Now it's really nice out.
Beautiful looking.
Yeah.
Picturesque. You can take that.
I will. Don't worry. We got some jelly, candied pecans. They have fresh strawberries. You can actually pick your own. And then we got a red and a white. It's kind of fun. It's fun picking stuff out at Harvest House. I like it. You can get some pretty unique things at Harvest House. And since we were on our way north to visit our friends that just moved to South Carolina, it was a great opportunity to get them a little housewarming gift, because we were going to see them in a couple days. It was a little bit hot and humid after that rainstorm, so it felt good to be outside the Scamp with a little bit of a breeze. It's so pretty out here now.
What's that?
Soup.
Oh,
It's really pretty out.
Yeah, it is.
I'm so glad it stopped raining. Yeah, they're like literally right out of the field. So we were sitting out and I guess the owner of the farm, Gary, drove by and he was like, "You want to go pick some strawberries?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I hopped in his truck. We went down the road to the You Pick Strawberry field and we just threw some in this basket and came back with our own basket of strawberries, like literally 5 minutes out of the field. That's crazy. That was so fun. It's a huge basket. I don't know how are we going to eat all day? The next morning we woke up to the sounds of birds and the sounds of wine being made. It is beautiful this morning. Just open blue sky. It's a little cool. The sun feels really good. And we kind of have a surprise today. Well, I feel like it's a surprise for us. I think by the time the video comes out, you've already seen the title, but... You want to tell them where we're going today?
Savannah.
We're going to Savannah, which I didn't think we were going to be able to do. I didn't think we were going to be able to get last-minute reservations anywhere, but...
Weekend, too.
Yeah, This is, I don't know how we pulled this out. Maybe somebody canceled?
I barely had any service, and then I was like, let me just check KOA just in case. And sure enough, they had a spot back in for $47 a night,
That's
which
not
is pretty good for KOA.
not
It's
bad at
usually,
all.
Very expensive.
Near a pretty big tourist attraction.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're kind of getting on the road early. It's 9:15 right now, and we're moving. That's good for us. He's moving. That guy.
He wants to get in the car. He wants...
You ready?
We're going home, actually.
Okay, we're going. Looks like they're getting ready for a show or some music or something this weekend. Today's Friday and they just set out chairs and it looks like they're putting a stage up. That's probably fun, especially if you're staying here as a harvest host. That's probably really fun. All right, on to Savannah. You ready, sir? You ready? Okay, let's go. Hey everyone, I just wanted to pop in and give a quick note from our sponsor for today's video, me. I've been teaching yoga for almost 2 decades now. If you head over to lauragyoga.com, you can see the full list of my offerings, from workshops, private sessions, continuing education for yoga teachers, specialized anatomy training, and my book, Yoga Therapy at the Wall. Thanks so much for being here. Now let's get back to the video.
Take the next right at Wise Court, then you will arrive at your destination.
That one. We had 2 nights booked at the Savannah KOA, and the plan was to go into Savannah tomorrow to explore, but the KOA is still a little outside of the city.
You have arrived.
Okay.
Oh.
Where do we go? Registration. Stop here?
Yeah.
I go in?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay. They have a dog park. That'll be good. We can get the crazy out. Have we ever had an escort? Oh yeah, one time at the other KOA. That's right.
Always sucks backing in.
Here's our spot at the Savannah KOA. We haven't stayed at a KOA in a long time, but it is nice. The check-in is always so smooth. I appreciate that. But it's just a little tough on our budget to do it too often. There's the red dog. And Patrick went to take a shower. It is very nice to have full hookups. I did dishes in the sink, not in a bucket. So that was very nice. And we're just gonna stay here tonight because there's a ton of traffic. It's Friday night. There's a ton of traffic going into the city, so we're gonna try to get up sort of early tomorrow and go into Savannah. Red got to play in the doggy area for a little while to get some energy out, which is a really nice feature when you're traveling. It was right up at the front of the park by the bathrooms and the main check-in. I took Red for a walk to explore the rest of the park. It was quite busy. I'm surprised we got this spot for 2 nights, but very happy about it. And even though the park was full, it was fairly quiet. Not too much going on. Everybody seemed to be just relaxing and enjoying the nice evening. We woke up the next morning pretty excited about going into Savannah. Redford, not so much. He was tired. He's really not known for getting up early, but he rallied and got into the car, and he always gets excited when he gets to go into the Jeep because he knows he's going somewhere pretty cool. And how many dogs get to go and walk around and explore Savannah? We just grabbed a parking spot in a parking garage to make it easy. As soon as we walked out of our parking garage, we turned right and walked into this beautiful park, and we were just blown away. You don't have to walk very far in downtown Savannah to find great parks, fountains, statues, historic buildings, and restaurants, coffee shops, all the things that you could want when you are traveling and exploring a place All of those things are in downtown Savannah. These look really old. These cobblestones look very old. Look at the big paddle boat. That's super neat. We made our way down to the historic waterfront, and notice how the streets are empty right now. It was pretty early when we got here, and this is going to look entirely different later. Oh boy. If we had more time, it would be really cool to take a ride on one of these. But just the one day. There are so many things to see and do in this area that it was actually kind of hard to decide where to go. And in that situation, we will just kind of wander aimlessly and see what we stumble upon. When you're in a place like this and there's so many options, you kind of can't go wrong that way. And then you don't have to worry about picking and choosing. You just sort of see where the day leads you. We made our way away from the waterfront back up the old cobblestone road, and these very old and kind of steep steps. Red had a little bit more of a challenge with these steps, but he made it. Walking around in the city is sometimes more challenging for him with navigating different surfaces. But by this time, we were starting to get a bit hungry. We hadn't eaten anything yet because we were trying to get here. And we were starting to figure out that since it was the weekend, the restaurants were pretty busy, especially for breakfast. There was probably a good 30 to 40 minute wait at most places. So we went with one of our old techniques, which is start to walk away from the main tourist area. You don't have to go very far, just a block or two out of the main area, and you'll be surprised what you find when you give it just a little bit of distance. Oh, frick. Put your down. Oh, your tail's in your water. Sorry. I'm sorry. He put his tail in his water. We ended up at this place called the Funky Brunch Cafe. They had outdoor seating that was very dog friendly. They brought red water. But by this time, we were hungry and we skipped right over breakfast and went for lunch. The food was great. The servers were so friendly. We really enjoyed that meal. And considering we were in the tourist area of Savannah, the prices were pretty good. We continued our process of wandering through the streets of Savannah, and then we realized we were close to this historic cemetery, so we made our way in there. You know, I can't pass up an opportunity to explore a historic Southern cemetery. It was nice that this was a dog-friendly area too, as long as you just make sure they don't pee on anything they shouldn't pee on. Dogs are allowed to walk through. Just in case you don't know what that is. That's a treat. As you wander through downtown Savannah, you get to appreciate how well laid out this city is and how much green space there is. As you walk past the houses, you're usually in this green tunnel of beautiful old trees, and then you're walking past historic buildings. There was this church where there was actually a wedding going on, and we stood there for a few minutes and watched trolleys and horse-drawn carriages rolling by in every direction. It's almost hard to wrap your head around, like a little fairy tale land full of parks and historic buildings. Just such a pleasant place to walk around and explore. We found ourselves in yet another beautiful park. We have some great parks here, that's for sure. If you like to take pictures, then Savannah is a great place for you because it seems like everywhere you go there are great photo ops. everybody was taking pictures by this old fountain, and luckily we were able to find somebody to take a picture of all three of us, which is no easy task, getting Redford to stand there and pay attention for more than a couple seconds. Don't drink it. I'm trying to get him to not drink. It's like you go through one park and you're like, that's the prettiest park I've ever seen. And then you go into another one, you think it can't get any prettier. And somehow it does. We were just saying, we're not really city people, but if we had to live in a city, I think this would probably be the only one I would consider. Although, I don't even want to know what the real estate prices are. They're probably astronomical. But, I mean, you're getting a lot for it. This is pretty awesome. As we continued walking farther inland, we ended up in the famous Forsyth Park. You've probably seen pictures and videos of this great fountain. It is such a centerpiece of the city. And there was so much going on in this park. There was some sort of an art festival going on, although maybe they just do this every weekend, I don't know. There were artists and jewelry makers and painters with all of their artwork lining the main promenade that went through the park. And then in all directions there were people having picnics and playing frisbee and playing catch with their dog. There was just such a sense of community, and this being the center of the city where everybody was out just enjoying the beautiful weather. We walked all the way to the end of the park and then circled back around the perimeter path. We decided that it was getting into the afternoon, so it would be a nice time to get a coffee and sit in one of the parks. So Patrick found a local coffee shop. We went and picked up 2 coffees and then just took a walk until we found a spot that was nice to just sit and soak in the sights of Savannah. We found a nice shady bench under a tree in one of the parks where we could sit and watch the horse-drawn carriages and the trolleys make their way around. We started to make our way back toward the waterfront, and it was quite a bit busier than it was when we visited earlier that morning, but this is kind of a good spot to watch all of the ships coming and going and visit some of the little shops that are along the historic waterfront. So it was a good place to hang out for just a little bit more for our one day in Savannah. The Savannah waterfront is lined with little stores and shops, and we decided that it was a good time for ice cream. So Redford and I waited outside patiently while Patrick went in to get some ice cream. No, wait. There were a lot more cars and people walking around now than when we were here in the morning. Some areas of the sidewalk it was hard for us to walk because I was afraid Redford was going to get stepped on, and he's not a small dog, but it was quite crowded. Patrick stopped in this hat store to check out some of the cowboy hats.
Buddy.
That's actually nice. Does it fit your giant head? That very nice hat came with a price tag of about $300, so we kept walking and we decided that it was time to head back to the car and make our way back to the campground. But as we went back to the parking garage, we decided to take a drive around the city. even though Savannah is a pretty big city, it's fairly easy to walk and to drive around. So we'll give you this little driving tour. Since we spent pretty much this whole trip looking at different properties, we figured we would drive around and get the lay of the land, because it would be nice if we could live in Savannah for a little while, but we quickly came to the realization that this area is way out of our price point and it's very difficult to find anything dog friendly, which is always the struggle. So probably not going to live in Savannah anytime soon, but if you've never been to this area, we highly recommend planning a trip here. It's easily a place that you could spend several days or a week and not run out of things to do. Even if you're like us and you just like to walk around and take in the sights, plenty to see here. We hope you enjoyed this quick one-day exploration of Savannah. We still have more to share with you from this trip as we make our way back north. We're going to be heading toward the Charleston, South Carolina area for our next stop, and we will see you in the next video. We're not usually city people, but I would say that was probably one of the most enjoyable cities we visited. It's fairly easy to drive in there. Even for a Saturday, it wasn't crazy busy. Like downtown River Street was a lot of people walking. You kind of feel like a salmon trying to swim upstream, and especially with like handling the dog, that gets a little tricky weaving in between people. But the downtown, very walkable, just beautiful every turn. Like beautiful old houses, beautiful parks, huge oak trees. Really neat. I would love to come back with more time and do more of the activities. It's always limiting with the dog because we have to do dog-friendly things, but even for a city, I would say Savannah's pretty dog-friendly too, because when I was looking at bringfido.com, there are a lot of restaurants and a lot of activities that are dog-friendly, so if you're traveling with a dog, it's probably pretty doable. But yeah, Savannah, very neat city.
About you and me, the injustice, the next president to be, the news and what you hear, your career. It's time for you to face those fears, and it's all fair to be aware, and I'll be there, so don't be scared. Just take a deep breath of air, and 1, 2, 3 to 10, you begin to focus again, and though time flies, we'll have enough to realize this bigger than the both of us.